Welcome to the Lex Buds and Pick and Roll podcast. I'm one of your two co-hosts, Brandon.
And with you as always is Tyler.
Tyler, this is episode 57. What is that?
This is the Heinz edition. Of course, Heinz 57 ketchup.
Yeah, it is. Is Heinz 57 a ketchup, let me ask, or is it a barbecue sauce?
Oh.
See, we've thrown the show off the rail altogether.
No, Heinz 57 is the ketchup, because, don't you... I mean, I don't eat ketchup, which we have talked about previously on this show.
Heinz 57 is a different product. You don't know this because you don't eat ketchup. Okay, first of all, so you don't know.
Heinz 57 is ketchup.
Heinz 57 is a sauce. Tyler, we're 30 seconds into the show. We can't even get the show started.
I don't believe you.
Heinz 57 is a sauce. It's not a ketchup.
That's A1 sauce. A1 is the steak sauce.
Tyler, you're way off base here. I promise you, Heinz 57 is a sauce.
What kind of sauce?
It's Heinz 57 sauce. It has 57 different flavors in it. That's the name.
But so it's
because
not,
it's a sauce.
So it's not a ketchup.
No.
Well, damn it. You just ruined my whole introduction.
We just got started. But you know what? We already started now, and we're going to keep recording.
Well, I have learned something new. I would have gone to my grave thinking Heinz 57. It's not a ketchup?
No. Next show, Tyler.
So what do you use Heinz 57 on?
You can use it on the same thing you use A1 with. You can use it with steaks. A lot of people use it with pork chops and chicken because of the flavor profiles. It goes better with that. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Tyler, how did we get off track so quick? Remember right before the show, I was like, hey, we got a lot to cover. We really need to be focused on our time.
And now we've already blown it.
And we're 2 minutes in, and we've talked about ketchup. So we are way off base here. This is going to be a disaster.
It's going to be a great
show. But when we do get to the news, Tyler, we've got a lot to talk about. We've got to talk about capacity at Kroger Field, which is exciting. We've got to talk about Coach K, unfortunately.
Yes.
We're going to talk about becoming a millionaire by getting vaccinated, climate change, Friends reunion, and of course our Calipari Players Bracket, and much more. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
That's right. We've got a lot to cover. If you notice, if you went last week and noticed that there was no show on your podcast feed, if you subscribe to us, we had to take a little break from Memorial Day. We just couldn't get a time for us to get together with all the stuff that was going on over the holidays. So,
what did you do over the holidays, Tyler? While we're at it, tell me about what you did over the last week.
God, what did I do? That's a great question. Well, I have a question that I need to ask you your opinion on, Brandon, because I have made a life choice that I feel either one makes me a bad person or makes me a very cheap person, and I need your opinion on this.
Okay, I'm interested to hear what you got.
Okay, so you know how anytime you pay somewhere with a credit card, they have the little iPad, and now I feel like everywhere that you go, after you pay, it's got the, would you like to leave a tip?
Yes, I agree with you.
And then it has, 18%, 20%, 20. There's no just like 10%. Like the minimum choice that they give you is like 20%.
10%'s rude.
And so I'm to the point now that I've actually started paying in cash. So I've been going to the ATM and getting cash for any place that I know I have to pay at an iPad where it's going to ask me to tip. I have started paying in cash to avoid the awkwardness of the tip question.
So you don't like confrontation, I think it makes sense. You're willing to go out of your way, go to an ATM, pull out money to go get a popsicle at Steel City Pops because you don't want to swipe your card.
That's funny because that was actually one of the places
I know because I go there too, and they asked me for a tip.
And, because I feel terrible when I hit no tip. Because when that iPad spins back around, they're looking at you like, oh.
What a jerk.
No tip, huh? And then I start to worry, well, what are they going to do to my food or to my drink or whatever it is I'm buying? So I feel obligated to tip. I can't not tip in that situation. I have to do something. So now to avoid this, I'm just paying in cash from now on.
Unbelievable.
So does that make me? I feel bad. I know these companies need the money. COVID, has killed local small businesses. So does this make me a bad person, or does it make me cheap, or does it make me both? Or
well,
am I in the right here?
Here's what I think, Todd, because it's a delicate issue. There's basically two answers to this, and it depends on where you're going. I think if you're getting takeout from a restaurant, like if it's a restaurant you would normally tip at, let's say you're going to a Texas Roadhouse and you're ordering to go.
Yeah.
And somebody's taking you out the food and then, they're taking your card back and doing all that. Okay, I may leave them a small tip. Not as much as if I was in the restaurant.
Sure.
Not even close. I may leave like $3. I mean, something small. But if it's a Chipotle or a popsicle place, nope, you turn that sucker back around. I ain't tipping anytime. But the first few times I did that, I was paranoid. I was like, wow, they're going to judge me. They're judging me. They're looking at me right now.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel.
But after you do it a few times, you stop caring.
So you will click the no tip button on there
easily.
And you don't feel guilty about
that? No, because
I
wasn't tipping them before.
That's true, but they weren't asking you before. Now they're asking you.
And I'm not giving it. You can ask me for anything. I could ask. It'd be like me going there, and when it says no tip, I'll say, can you give me a discount? No? Okay, then no tip. If they're going to ask me for something, why can't I ask them for something?
Yeah.
Two can play this game, Tyler.
They can. But I hate it. I hate it. Just, it makes me, I'm an introvert. By nature, and I'm just very awkward in these situations. So
it's a difficult hurdle to get over.
My solution to avoid this is to now just pay in cash, and I feel like it makes everybody's listening to this is gonna be like, "What a cheapskate."
No, I think if it's a place you would normally tip, yes. But if it's not, and if it's just a small thing, no, not a snowball's chance. Good question, though, Tyler, because I've had that same debate with myself.
Yeah, so that's what's been going on with my week. Big life change.
It is a life. That's why we couldn't schedule the show last week, because you had to contemplate this decision.
That's right.
You spent all your time last week, instead of recording, you spent all your time going to the ATM.
Yeah, that's why we couldn't shoot the show. I was busy at Chase Bank going to the ATM. What about you? I know you had a big trip over the break.
So we went to Chicago for Memorial Weekend, which was really cool. We did 3 different deep dish pizza places and tried to figure out our favorite ones. And let me just say this. I'm a thin crust pizza guy. I love thin crust pizza. But there's something about deep dish pizza in Chicago only that is different. It's better, and it's my favorite pizza on the planet.
Oh,
the best pizza I've ever had. We went to Lou Malnati's.
I've been to that one. That's fantastic.
We went to Lou Malnati's. We went to Giordano's, and we went to Gino's East. And for me, it was hands down the best pizza in Chicago is from Gino's East.
Interesting.
The original location off Michigan Avenue.
Okay.
Yeah, it's so good. It's hard to explain. I mean, they put the sauce on top. The crust is like a cornbread kind of crust. So, I mean, as a Kentuckian, cornbread, I mean, you're speaking my language here.
Amen, brother.
You know what I mean? So it really hits me in the feel good points there, and it's just delicious.
But so normally though, it's interesting. So you're normally a thin crust guy. So you're more of a New York thin.
Easily, yeah, for sure.
But only in Chicago you go for the deep dish.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
But it's the best.
Yeah, I love them both. I love deep dish. I love the thin New York style. I mean, if I'm picking my 2 favorite pizza places here in Lexington, I love Jet's deep dish and I love Goodfellas thin crust.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, here's the thing.
I don't know if
I
could pick one.
Here's the thing, though. When you go to get deep dish outside of Chicago, and this is what kind of breaks it for me, is when you do deep dish at other places. And by the way, I like Jet's. Jet's is very underrated, and it's great every time I go there. The problem is their deep dish. The deep part is all bread.
It is all bread.
Okay,
Agreed.
With the same amount of topping that I would get on a thin. Whereas you go to Chicago, the deep dish is meat and cheese.
It's almost like a casserole.
It is a casserole that happens to have some breading around it.
A pizza casserole.
So that's the difference to me. I think, if you're on a diet, I think that Chicago deep dish is better for you because you don't have all those carbs.
Fair.
You just have the cholesterol and fat.
Yeah. I don't think either one of them is really good for you for a diet.
No, what's really weird, though, is my 10-year-old went up there. I ate like 1 or 2 pieces at each place we went to. He ate half the pizza.
You're kidding me.
No. We would eat a pizza. We'd all share it. He would eat half of it.
He ate half of a deep dish
my 10-year-old
Chicago pizza?
That's what I'm telling you.
Oh, my goodness.
Freaky, man. Really freaky. It's weird to watch your kid just sit there and just wolf it down. I don't know where he got it from.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what you used to do when you were a kid. I remember every time you come over to my house to stay the night, my mom and dad would have to buy groceries the next day because you would eat everything while you were there. So
thanks, Todd. I do appreciate that they did that, though. I probably owe them some money for that.
Yeah, probably.
But that's okay. Well, I think this show has gotten off to an interesting start. I'll just say that. But at our core, Tyler, we are sports. We started out as sports, and by gosh, we're going to just keep on going with sports first. Because we do have some big news to cover. Some biggies.
We do. And we're just going to start right out the gate. Brandon, I'm just going to make this intro short and sweet.
That's the way I like it.
UK basketball. Keon Brooks is back. Isaiah Jackson is gone. Go.
I like it. You know what? I actually like Keon Brooks a little bit more in the way that he did it, because they asked him, like, so you're back now. This is when he was at one of the camps. He's like, I don't know why I have to make an announcement that I'm coming back. I'm going to school.
Right.
And I was like, thank you. Like, when did it become normal for kids to have, like, Instagram videos and 5-minute videos of, oh, yeah, I'm coming back for my sophomore season? I just thought that was going to school. You know, when I was in high school, I was never, like, held out hope that I wasn't coming back. It was just like, yeah, I'm going to be a sophomore. I'm going to take PE. And, you know, it's weird. Is it not weird?
It is. I mean, I don't know when this became a thing. And I don't know if this is even a thing at other schools, or if this is just Kentucky, because we just assume guys are going to leave after every year. Like, I feel like at other schools, guys don't have to make an announcement that they're coming back. But at Kentucky, our fans have just become so jaded, and we've just been burned so many times with guys leaving when they shouldn't have. Like, we're self-conscious. We need that confirmation. Like, we need your Instagram. We need, like, to assure ourselves now. And Keon not announcing, everybody's like, well, is he staying? Is he going? We don't know. He hasn't said it. Why isn't he saying anything?
Yeah.
And then when you think about it, why does he need to say anything?
Well, it's kind of like, Tyler, we're both married here. You know, if your significant other gets quiet and they're not saying anything, you get nervous. You're like, oh, God, what did I say?
Something's wrong.
Did I do something wrong? Is everything okay? And you start analyzing it. And then later on, you're like, oh, there was nothing. Okay. But you know what I mean? It's kind of the same thing. We've been burned. You got to be careful. There have been players that have left this program that had no business leaving. And Keon Brooks would have been a perfect example of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's good that he's coming back. I just assumed that Jackson was gone a long time ago. I mean, why not? He's going to be probably a top 10, 15 pick. Why not leave? So, I get that one. I'm glad Brooks is back.
Yeah, you can't blame Jackson. He appears to be a lottery pick by most draft boards. Brooks, I mean, I think he could be really good. I mean, how many guys have actually come back for a junior season in the Cal era? Like, let's just think, how many guys have we had? You had Willie, Alex. Who else has come back for a junior year?
Well, I think Nick Richards set a big tone because he took a huge step, right? And I think he actually talked about Nick Richards when he answered the question. You know, Nick Richards coming back. You had P.J. Washington and Quickly coming back for, you know, so people are starting to do it more, which I'm happy to see. I like to see players get better and get to know them for more than 8 months. That helps me too. So I'm excited about it. Overall, as far as the team goes, I know we've got a lot of transfers in. We've got some top players coming in. You just have to see how all the pieces fit. I've been burned too many times over the last few years, and you know my approach, Tyler. Wait and see.
You're waiting,
but this doesn't hurt.
I agree. The possibilities. I mean, we've got 3 very good shooters. We've got 2 point guards. You assume one of them is going to work out. Put in Keon Brooks, at a stretch 4 with all those other shooters.
Oscar Tshiebwe and Damon Collins.
I mean,
it could be good. It could be good.
It could be really good. I like as Cal says, I like my team.
Yeah, so far so good. Tyler, Kroger grocery stores seem to be more full than Kroger Field last season, if you'll recall. But that's all set to change, as it was recently announced that Kroger Field will be at full capacity for the upcoming football season. Tyler, your thoughts on this, and do you feel comfortable taking your family to a completely full football game?
Heck yeah. I just bought season tickets this week. I didn't buy season tickets. But
wow.
I thought about buying season tickets for a minute, but it's just too, as we've established at the beginning of the show, I'm too cheap to lay down that kind of money.
Exactly. Well, the problem was whenever you went to the checkout and they asked if you wanted to leave a tip for the season ticket.
Yeah, they asked me for that K-Fund donation, and I'm like, nope.
Too much pressure.
Not getting me.
What do you so would you take your family to a fully crowded game?
Absolutely. I mean, we're already, my wife and I, we're going out without masks. Unless the place says you have to wear a mask, we're not wearing one. So especially outside, I mean, why not? I would feel totally comfortable.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things, if not now, when would you ever go? Like, what are you waiting on here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We've had our vaccine shots,
Yeah, if you're waiting on 10 years of vaccination data, you're going to miss a whole decade's worth of football. I mean, at some point, you've got to go outside your door. So I agree with you. I'm excited about it. Games are not the same without fans. I think the NBA playoffs have shown that a little bit. It's a lot more exciting with fans in the stands. It just makes a difference.
Yeah, and it makes a difference for the players. I mean, there is a home field advantage for a reason. And probably part of the reason we struggled last year is not having that home field on those night games. Night games at Kroger Field or Commonwealth Stadium are against a big team are just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And our players never got to experience that last year. I think it's going to make a big difference.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I will definitely be at some games this year. We may have to cover some for Lex Buds too, so we'll see how that
Maybe
goes.
we'll get credentialed.
Yeah, there we go.
You think?
I'm sure that after our John Calipari song, I'm sure we'll be like right at the top of the list.
Yeah, I'm sure. All right, Brandon, I know you love a good farewell tour.
Yes.
You and I have actually been to the Kiss farewell tour.
Yes.
Motley Crue's farewell tour, both of which ended up not being their farewell tours, and they did multiple more shows, but that's another point.
Good point.
Brandon, I have a farewell tour coming up that I might be even more excited about than Kiss and Motley Crue's.
I hope it's as wild. That sounds amazing.
And that is the one that Mike Krzyzewski will be going on this year. The Duke coach announced this will be his final season coaching the Blue Devils, and Jon Scheyer, former Duke player, was announced as the coach in waiting. Brandon, your thoughts on the retirement, and is K the best college coach of all time?
Coach K is the second best college coach of all time behind John Wooden.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I wasn't even alive when John Wooden was winning games, but the things that he did, how do you not put him in there? It's insane.
How many? I mean, what did he win? Like 11 titles?
Yeah, 10 titles. I think UCLA has 11 total. Won 10 of them with him in such a. I mean, give me a break. Nobody does that. Now, it could be argued that he did it with an easier path than now, but still, that's an amazing accomplishment because eventually you have to get to the Final Four and win title games, regardless of how easy it was to get there. You got to win the big games, and he did it,
no doubt,
10 times. So I've got to give it that to him. But as far as Coach K, I'm excited that he's leaving. I'm not excited about all the ESPN post games that we're going to see after UK games. Because what it's going to be is, okay, UK wins. Let's go over to Coach K. He's on his 14th press conference. We're going to talk about him. We're also going to do a 30 for 30 on his legacy. We're also going to do a 90-minute special on Jon Scheyer, the coach in waiting, and his relationship with Coach. It's going to be nauseating. I'm going to have to take some what's that stuff they give you when you're getting ready to go on a plane or get on a roller coaster or something that keeps you from being nauseated? The seasickness pills.
Dramamine?
Dramamine. I'm going to have to just stock up on Dramamine this year because it's going to be vomit-inducing, sickening to watch. I'm not looking forward to that. But, I mean, the guy wins, and I can pretty much guarantee why he's getting out. He doesn't want to deal with the new setup in college basketball. I think it's a huge pain in the ass for college coaches. And if I'm looking at would I want to be a college coach now, probably not. It's just a lot of hassle. You have players leaving like crazy in the transfer portal every year. You have to travel so many days a year to recruit for guys that may only stay on your campus for 6 months and then transfer. You got to think, is it worth those trips out to California to get this guy for 6 months and he may transfer? It just changes a lot. It's a bigger headache, not worth dealing with. Jon Scheyer, I hope he's as good a coach in waiting as Joker Phillips.
Yeah, I mean, Coach K's what, in his mid-late 70s? I don't know exactly how old he is, but that's a great point. I mean, we've seen with K and Roy Williams both announcing that they're hanging it up, that, transfers, freshmen, the name, image, likeness coming up. I think to them it's just not going to be worth the headaches. This opens the door, I think, for Calipari to go on a big run. And if you look at the coaches that have kind of stood in Kentucky's way the last few years, obviously Carolina won in 2017. Duke took 2 of our titles in 2010 and 2015. Hey, now those guys are gone. So you look at, all right, who is the elite coach in America right now? And it's got to be John Calipari, right? I mean, you got who are the other possibilities? Jay Wright, Tom Izzo. I mean, Cal is going to have an opportunity because I think Carolina and Duke are really going to struggle at least a couple years under Hubert Davis at Carolina, Jon Scheyer at Duke. Those guys may end up doing great, but I think there's going to be a hit as guys kind of wait and see what those coaches are going to do. So I think Cal has a window. And, he's expected to have a massive 2023 recruiting class. I know we're looking ahead 2 years from now. But I think Cal has got to seize this opportunity to at least get one more title under him. And he's got the path is clearing for him to take it.
Yep. I think you mentioned the key thing. I think Cal's probably got about 4 to 5 years left here at Kentucky. That's just my opinion. And he's got an opportunity to really knock it out of the park and get to the promised land, to the Final Four, 2 or 3 more times before he leaves here. And one of those times he needs to come home with another title. And I think he knows that. He will never say that.
No, of course not.
He would say, "Oh, your people are crazy." But in his introductory press conference, he announced that he was here to hang banners, not banner.
Right.
Plural, more than one. He's got the players to do it. He needs it. I think he knows it too.
Yep, agreed. All right, Brandon, what's next?
All right, Tyler, are you ready for an episode of Fans Gone Wild?
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
NBA fans have gone nuts since being allowed back in for live games. During his matchup with the Sixers, Washington Wizards guard Russell Westbrook had popcorn dumped on his head while heading to the locker room following an injury. 5 days later, during the same series, Tyler, another fan rushed the court and was subsequently arrested. Tyler, is this a signal that the human race is devolving, or do we just have a couple of idiot fans?
Yeah, and on top of that, Emmanuel quickly had like a beer poured on
Yes.
him or water bottle or something thrown
The
at
thing
him
that
as
blew
well.
my mind was this was 5 days later.
Yeah.
There was a huge fan problem. The guy got suspended, can not come back to the facility again. Somebody else was like, "Oh, that sounds like a good idea. I'll go rush." You know what I mean? It's weird.
And, you know, these are people who pay a lot of money. These are playoff games.
Playoffs.
I mean, they probably spent $500 for these tickets only to be thrown out and never allowed back in the arena again. It doesn't make any sense to me. What I will never understand is how people will treat athletes at a sporting event when they would never, ever do these things if they saw them on the street.
No, because they beat your...
They would, yeah. I mean, Russell Westbrook is ripped all to pieces. I mean, he is a big dude. Like, nobody would ever do something like that in the real world. Yet, what is it about being in an arena that makes people feel like they can do these sorts of things? The psychology of it, to me, is fascinating.
Well, they know they can get to these players. You remember that scene in Dazed and Confused when they're at the party at the end and the guy wants to punch the guy in the face and like, "Don't do it." Like, no, everybody will break it up. Nobody likes to see a fight. So they go in doing these things knowing that the player will never get to them, but that somebody will break it up and be like, "Oh, hold me back. You know what I mean? They're trying to get the first punch in and get a laugh in,
Right.
and they don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But and to me, this is part of the reason that I'm almost to the point that I would just rather watch games at home is because of the idiot fans. And it's obviously just a couple of idiot fans.
We hope.
hope.
This just started, Ty. We just started letting them back in.
Right.
It's like you tell my kids, like, "Okay, I'll let you play with this again because you've been nice. Okay, Dad, I won't be mean." And then 5 days later, they're like, "Oh, they're just running around like crazy." You don't really know what they're going to do until you let them back in, and so far they're acting nuts.
Yeah, it's embarrassing, and as a Cleveland Browns fan, I saw stuff like this all the time when I would go to Browns games. I mean, I used to go to a Browns game every year, and it just got to the point, like, just the people sitting around you were just so mean to the fans of the other team sitting around us. Like, people would sit and throw things at the other team's fans, and it's just like, really? Like, I don't even want to be a part. Like, you're sucking all the fun out of this for me.
So you stopped going to the. I just want to clarify. You stopped going to the Browns fans not because you were embarrassed of being a Browns fan at a game. You were embarrassed of the other fans.
It just made it not fun, man. Just like it's just so negative. And like I remember that we were at like a Bills game. The Bills were playing the Browns, and there were 2 Bills fans sitting a few rows in front of us, and people were just like pelting them with food, just verbally assaulting them and cussing them, and it's like this isn't fun. Like, just cheer for your team, let other people cheer for their team. Let's just be happy. Like, that's just not fun to me.
Yeah, that's crazy, Tyler. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm sure this won't be the last incident of these playoffs, and we still got a few weeks left. This is going to keep going. I'm interested to see where it goes.
It's true. That was just the first round. Wait till people get
people
more...
like a copycat crime. You know, you see one crime happen, then they'll have a flurry of like 3 or 4 more that do the same thing because they want their TV time. Jeez Louise.
Their moment in the sun.
Is it really though?
I guess.
Whatever.
All right, that wraps up segment 1. If you are not following us on social media, please stop what you're doing right now. Unless you're driving, don't stop driving in the middle of the road. That might be bad. But if you're at a place where you can stop what you're doing, stop what you're doing. Open up your Twitter account, type in @LexBuds, and click the follow button. You will not be disappointed.
I'm going to do it right now, Tyler. Actually, I'm going to go. So what is it?
You're not following us already?
I am here in just a second.
That's disappointing.
I was just trying to show an example of what to do. Oh, I'm not following us. We should go to Twitter and at LexBuds. You know where else they can find us, Tyler?
Where
on
else?
Facebook. Just type LexBuds and Pick and Roll. You'll find our information on there as well. All of our videos. We put a lot of excerpts from the show on there as well. So if you want to see quick clips of the show, you can look at that as well. And then we're on the YouTubes. We're on the YouTube. You can subscribe to our channel on YouTube, believe it or not. How crazy is that? Wow. We have our own channel. We're big time.
Man. Really?
I mean, yeah.
Our own channel?
Our very own channel. It's the craziest thing. But you can catch the full video version of the show on YouTube. I know most of you just listen on audio via podcast, but keep in mind, if you want to see our beautiful faces, I mean, we put a lot of work with this camera to
and
make
why
us look
wouldn't
good.
you?
2 hours worth of makeup. We have a whole team here to do our hair, which is why Tyler's wearing a hat. I mean, it's an unbelievable production.
Yeah, you've got your Mickey Mouse shirt on that people wouldn't even know if they were just listening on podcasts.
There's a lot. People, it's worth a subscribe, to say the least.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to now move on to segment 2 for the news. We've got some great stories that I'm very excited to cover, but I'm going to start with what may be a very sad story. The most magical place in Kentucky is closing its doors, Brandon.
Oh, wow.
Talking about the Disney store at Fayette Mall, the last one in the state, will be closed by June 16th, joining dozens of other Disney stores across the country. Brandon, you are sitting here wearing a Mickey Mouse shirt, for crying out loud. So I imagine you are grumpy and not happy about this decision.
Oh, that's funny. It's a sad day because my kids like going to the Fayette Mall and they like going to the Disney store. Well, let me just say this. I'm a little concerned about something.
Okay.
Can I just talk about something that I don't see anybody else talking about?
Let's be
this.
real.
I've been on the Twitters and the Facebooks. Nobody talks about this, but every time I've went here the last few months, I'm concerned.
Okay.
And that is with the Fayette Mall, which is where this Disney store is located. Tyler, unless I'm blind and I'm the only one not seeing this, there are a lot of empty stores in Fayette Mall. Where they used to have the the walkways where they had the booths where the people would harass you to try a massage or hair products.
I hate those people. They're the worst.
Well, they're not there. There's a lot of empty booths. There's a lot of empty stores. I worry about the future of the Fayette Mall in general. I just have to put that out there because I don't see anybody else talking about this. But walk in the Fayette Mall and you tell me if that looks anything like what it did 3 years ago. Go do it. You'll be shocked. I was shocked. Couldn't believe it.
Well, we actually went there because if you go to the Disney store, everything is now 30% off. So we went and picked up a bunch of stuff for the kids. I picked up a stuffed baby Yoda for myself to sit in my office desk.
That makes sense. I mean, we're going to be disappointed. Our kids like going to the Disney store. But, hey, there's going to be great discounts there for the next little bit, so that'll be exciting.
Yeah, it is. But I feel like kids are being robbed of the excitement of actually being able to go to a store and pick out a toy. You remember how exciting it was as a kid when you got to go to Toys R Us?
Yeah, what's that again?
Right, yeah.
There was KB Toy Store. There was Toys R Us. It is kind of sad because now you just have to go to Walmart and Target to the little section.
Or Amazon. We order all the kids' toys off Amazon now. Where's the excitement in that for the kids?
Yeah, it's like they have to walk past the automotive tire section to get to the toys. Whereas before you would just walk in the door and there was just massive toys. It was your store as a kid. No more.
Yeah, so that's a little bit sad for me. Just the fact that there aren't many options for kids to go and just be in awe and wonder at all the toys in a toy store.
It is sad.
I'm a little sad about it.
A little bit of a Debbie Downer to start off the news segment, Tyler,
yeah.
But that's how we roll on this show.
Well, you're going to tell me something that's going to perk me up. I got a feeling.
Well, I hope so, Tyler. Someone's going to get a vaccine, and it better be you, Tyler, because Governor Beshear has recently announced that he will give away 3 $1 million prizes to Kentuckians 18 years or older who have had at least one of their doses of the COVID vaccine. Tyler, is this a good use of money or is it game show politics?
I am so excited. I signed up the other night. Well, actually, the first day that they announced this, I signed up that night. Got Kim signed up. We are in the lottery. We are ready. We could both win the million because there's 3 separate drawings.
That's a good point.
So we could both be millionaires. I think we've talked about it on this show, that I thought Kentucky needed to do something like this to not only try to increase the people who get the vaccine, but also it just kind of sucked for people like us who got the vaccine when it first came out And now there's all these promotions like, hey, if you come get the vaccine today, you get free ice cream, you get free beer, you get free groceries. Well, crap, what about me? What about when, I mean...
It's like that Judd song, Why Not Me?
Why not me?
Why not me? Yeah, it's sad. It is sad. I'm conflicted about it a little bit because, I mean, politics-wise, yeah, probably politically it's kind of good. If I'm, I always like to try to look at this through a political lens if I was the political advisor. I think it's good politically. I just don't think it's going to work. Does that make sense?
Okay.
I mean, if your morals tell you to not take the vaccine, or whatever your belief system tells you not to take the vaccine, is a 1 in a million chance to win the lottery going to make you break your moral compass in half?
I don't know, man. A lot of people are hooked on the lottery. Have you seen people who will spend their last paycheck on a scratch-off ticket?
I have seen it, yes. But I mean, I just don't think that it moves the needle. So do I think it's smart politically? Yes. Do I think it'll work? No. That's my answer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and it has appeared to work in other states though that did this. Like Ohio saw a big increase in people when they did something like this. So
we'll wait. We'll just have to see.
We will see.
I'm sitting here spouting off opinions. I have no clue. We'll just have to let it play out.
But I'm excited. Did you sign up for the lottery?
Not yet. I will.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll play the lottery. I got my shot. I was not one of the first people, but I got it as soon as I could. I want to get a reward.
I mean, this is, if you're just looking at sheer odds, I mean, that's pretty good as opposed to, playing the Powerball. I mean, there's only, 2 million, so you've got a 1 in 2 million chance of winning.
Well, I think the other half of it is people won't sign up. You know what I mean?
That's true. Not all 2 million will have signed up.
Yeah, so I mean, that increases your odds as well.
That's great.
But good luck, Tyler. May the odds be ever in your favor, as they say on Hunger Games.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, Brandon, and news from our home county of Letcher County. So this is going to be a good story first.
I'm excited already.
A man was detained at the Jenkins Double Quick.
I'm getting more excited.
Where no good story starts in Letcher County without the Double Quick.
Yes.
He was detained because police found guns, ammunition, and a grenade in the man's truck. So I guess the police were there just filling up with gas. I guess they happened to see weapons in this guy's truck. Of course, they arrest him, handcuff him, put him in the back of the police car. Now, normally, that would be the end of this story, Brandon.
I'm already enthralled. I mean, this is a great story. You're telling me it gets better?
But wait, there's more. Somehow, Mr. Stephen Tackett is his name, was able to get through the cage of the police car, get his handcuffed arms in front of him enough that he could drive the police. He stole the police car. The car was found a day later in Pike County, and Tackett is still on the loose. This has been like 2 weeks. They still have not found him, at least that I'm aware of. Brandon, is this a true Letcher County story?
Tyler, this is great. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, the fact that somebody is toting a grenade around, probably not great. Okay, let's be honest.
At a gas station.
At a gas station. Probably not great. Okay, so I will grant you that. Not the best way to start off things. However, I don't want to say that the officers were inept because I don't know the whole situation.
Sure.
But how do you let a guy steal a cop car? I guess that's my overarching question.
It's a bad look.
That's like the one thing you can't let happen. You know what I mean? It's like the guys in The Hangover. They stole the police car. It makes you wonder how they stole it.
Right. Yeah, I was actually thinking of in Varsity Blues when Tweeter stole the police car.
Yeah. I mean, that's like rule number 1. Don't let the police car get stolen.
Yes.
And you let it get stolen. So I'm sure that whoever's car that was is going to get razzed for the rest of their professional career.
Yeah.
But that's, their punishment for that. What do you think should happen to this guy? I mean, obviously they arrested him for weapons, which is interesting, but what do you think happens to him if and when they do catch him? We don't know if this guy's ever going to get caught.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I imagine somewhere in Letcher County, there's, Tommy Lee Jones is there. We're going to search every outhouse, farmhouse, henhouse, and doghouse to find Stephen Tackett. Which, by the way, for people who aren't from Letcher County, I feel like every person in Jenkins
is a Tackett.
Like,
I was getting ready to say the same thing. Like half the phone book in Jenkins is phone books. Those are books that had people's names and phone numbers in them. Half of it are Tackett. So if you were telling me that somebody did this, I would say, is it a Tackett? Not because they're all criminals,
right?
But because they take up a good portion of that area.
Yeah, you can't really swing a dead cat in Jenkins without hitting a Tackett with it.
That's true.
So. Yeah, what the police need to do, what you and I have found on this show, I guarantee somebody knows where this guy is. And what the police need to do, they need to start reading Speak Your Piece. Because I guarantee somebody has called in to Speak Your Piece and has said, hey, if those police officers go look up Perk Creek, that Tackett guy's been out stealing my snow tires. They need to come check it out. Somebody knows where he is. There's too many Tacketts. They all know each other. Somebody knows where he is.
Oh, jeez, Louise. That's pretty funny, Ty. You're right. You're right. And you know, he may get really bold and call in to Speak Your Piece himself.
Ooh, that would be awesome.
Yeah. Like, man, my hands are really tied these days. I wish, I'd like to go on a cruise, with a police crew, I mean, he could totally troll them by calling Speak Your Piece. So that may be good. Let's put a bulletin out to this guy right now. If he's listening to this show.
Yes.
Which, I'm
of
sure.
Course
I'm sure
he is. Why wouldn't he?
Go ahead and call in to Speak Your Piece, and let's see if we can figure out where you are by leaving clues and Speak Your Piece.
You could be a celebrity.
He could be a celebrity.
He could have a movie made about it.
This is his chance. Take advantage of it.
All right.
What a great story.
It is. Only in Letcher County.
Tyler, I'll be honest with you. This next subject makes me tear up just a little bit. So please forgive me.
Okay.
Literally tear up. My eyes get red and everything. According to a leading asthma and allergy doctor, Priya Warrior, if you felt that your allergies are worse this year in Kentucky than normal, then it may be because of climate change.
Oh.
Warming temps and carbon emissions, according to the doctor, will continue to plague the area with increased pollen. And according to the doctor, this will continue without reducing carbon emissions and working on climate change. Tyler, is she right, or is she full of hot air? Yes, I've got a million of them.
All right, now I'm going to let you handle most of this because I know you have terrible allergy problems, and I really have never had allergy issues, knock on wood, in my life. So I don't understand what makes Kentucky so bad for allergies. Like I would, we get a lot of rainfall. I would think, that the rain would help with allergies.
We have a lot of lush greenery.
So the greenery.
We have a lot of weeds.
So the
trees,
rainfall actually makes it worse.
Weeds, trees, and pollen. And we have very rich soil, which makes things grow and pollinate, and just really vibrant area. And the downside of that is this has been the worst year for allergies I've ever had.
Really?
The last show that we did, Tyler, I took Benadryl right before the show. Total disaster, by the way.
I remember you looked horrible. No offense.
No, I looked horrible. I could barely get my words out because the Benadryl knocked me out so bad. So I'll never do that again. That's why I drank Gatorade on the last show instead of bourbon, because I was afraid to have the bourbon with the Benadryl. And it's a good thing because that stuff knocked me out. But it's been a total mess. I mean, my nose has been stuffy. My eyes have been itching. It has been a disaster. I've had sinus infections. It's gotten to the point, Tyler, that I talked to my wife about it. I was like, if it keeps going like this any worse, I can't live the rest of my life here.
Oh, y'all thinking about moving?
No, I'm just saying, would you want to live your life that way?
No, it sounds terrible, and I'm very thankful that I've never had allergy problems. But I've seen how much you've struggled with them.
Yeah,
and it kind of worries me if things are getting worse. I worry about you, buddy.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. Now, do I think it's related to climate change? I don't know, because it seems like they can relate everything back to climate change.
Of course, yeah. It's too hot, climate change. It's too cold, climate change.
Yeah, and it's because of rising temperatures. But as far as I know, we've had some of the coolest months over the last few months that we've ever had in Lexington. Yeah. So I'm just sitting here like, okay, we've had record lows, but warming climates are affecting the pollen. So it's kind of like counterintuitive to me. I don't understand that argument part of it.
Yeah.
So I have a little trouble following that. I'm willing to listen to it, but that just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't add up. So it makes me think that the whole argument going back to that is just somebody that's an advocate for climate change trying to just push a button.
You're such a conspiracy theorist.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, it's hot outside. Like you said, climate, it just doesn't make any sense.
Okay. All right. Well, either way, I hope it doesn't get any worse because I don't want you to move away.
Yeah, it's terrible, but we'll move on.
All right, Brandon, it's story time with Uncle Tyler. I'm going to tell you a little story. Once upon a time, there was a native Hawaiian man who went to the mountains of Sierra County, California, in hopes of striking it rich during the gold rush. Later, his name was given to a ravine, a stream, and a street off of a scenic highway. Now, why do I tell you this story? Well, the man's name was Jim Crow. Mm-hmm. And in California, there is now a Jim Crow Canyon, Jim Crow Creek, and Jim Crow Road. So, needless to say, many of the residents of Jim Crow Road want the name changed and have petitioned to have the name changed. critics say this is more cancel culture. Brandon, if you were on this city council in California, are you keeping or changing the name of Jim Crow Road?
Well, this is an easy answer, Tyler. They've already canceled George Washington and Abraham Lincoln. How's Jim Crow?
California.
In California. Why wouldn't you cancel Jim Crow? Hell, why wouldn't you cancel anybody? You've already canceled Abraham Lincoln. After that point, you've already jumped the shark, to use an old TV term.
Mm-hmm.
You might as well cancel whatever you want. I don't even care anymore. They can do anything they want, and they do. It's dumb out there for the most part. Did I just say that out loud? I just feel like they do a lot of stuff that just makes me scratch my head. Now, for this one in particular, yeah, go ahead and do it. You've already canceled Lincoln. Cancel everything else.
You don't feel bad for Jim Crow, the native Hawaiian who got all these things named after him?
No, people don't care, Tyler. People don't read anymore. They just want to feel good and put something on Twitter.
I totally get. Can you imagine if you lived on Jim Crow Road, and you call to order something, or you call to update your account on something, and they're like, "Can you confirm your address for me?" Yeah, it's 125 Jim Crow Road. That would just be so awkward every time you had to give your address to somebody. So I totally get why. What if you lived on Adolf Hitler Court?
Yeah, let's say Adolf Hitler Court was like a philanthropist that gave billions of dollars and cured cancer, but unfortunately, he has the last name Hitler.
Yeah,
Adolf Hitler. Or what do you do with that? Change the name. People change the name of streets all the time.
It does happen. We named a street after Tim Couch and Hal Mummy. Like, we change street names all the time. I totally get. I understand people's anger at other, like when we talked about George Washington, Lincoln, but Jim Crow. Let's
say if this is in any other state in the country, I just say change it if you want. I don't care, whatever. But California does weird stuff and they're going to cancel everything anyway. So I almost overlooked this story altogether because they're nuts sometimes. They're going to cancel whatever they want.
That's true.
But
they are crazy. You're crazy.
Tyler, the Friends reunion occurred on HBO Max, and people have raved about it. As an avid Friends fan, Tyler, did this show live up to the hype? And how do you feel about these reunion shows in general?
Wait, you're an avid Friends fan?
No, I was talking about you.
I'm not an avid Friends fan.
No, you're not?
I thought you were. Where did you get that from?
Oh, it's Seinfeld. You're an avid Seinfeld.
Get your 90s NBC sitcom straight, sir.
Oh, man.
I have all the seasons of Seinfeld on DVD.
But, did you watch this at all? Do you have HBO Max, I guess, first?
Well, I don't. I've seen some clips of it, and I've saw all the reactions and people with crying emojis and everything. To me, Friends is that show, you're channel surfing, can't really find anything on that you want to watch, and you say, oh, well, Friends is on. I can watch an episode of Friends, and it's that kind of nothing else last resort show, but it's always good. Like, when I watch Friends, this is a funny show. Like, I don't know why I never watched this more, but for whatever reason, I just never got into Friends. But I think it did have two of my favorite sitcom moments, which there was the one where they were, isn't that the name of every episode? The one where
the one.
The one where they're trying to move the couch up the stairs. Have you seen that episode?
No.
And Ross is just telling, he's like, pivot, pivot, and they can't pivot, and then the couch gets stuck. I thought that was good. And then you also have the Smelly Cat, the Lisa Kudrow song.
Nice.
You even know what I'm talking about?
No.
Have you ever watched
Tyler,
Friends?
I haven't watched more than 2 minutes of Friends in my entire life.
Are you kidding me?
No, I think it's terrible. That's why I was hoping you...
Really?
Why did we pick this topic? Wait a minute. Tyler, we had 10 stories to pick out for this show, and we picked out a topic that neither one of us know jack about.
But it was a big topic, though.
Oh, my God. I've never watched more than 2 minutes of Friends. I don't like it.
What don't you like about it?
I just don't connect with the characters at all.
Okay.
It's not they wouldn't be my friends. I don't like it at all. When you could tell me 50 other episodes, I don't know any of them.
So can you name a Friends character?
Rachel.
Oh, see, there you go. Can you name any more?
Nope.
Well, I'm impressed that you could get one.
But we also had the one before this where the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air had a reunion too.
Yeah.
So that's what got me asking the question. What do you think about these reunion shows where they're trying to kind of bring back the nostalgia of, right now it's 90s shows?
I'm a sucker for all of it.
So if you were looking at the next reunion for a show, Tyler, who would you want to see in a reunion? What would you want to see?
Ooh.
Put you on the spot, didn't I?
That's a tough. We have a reunion of any show.
Yeah.
Dawson's Creek.
I've never seen one of those either. My goodness. And let's not forget, let's remind folks that you were on the black market for Dawson's.
Damn straight I was.
For Dawson's Creek videos.
Letcher County TV service canceled the channel Dawson's Creek was on, so I had to get somebody at satellite to record the episodes for me.
Well, you know, one that I would look at is Saved by the Bell, but they've had kind of a pseudo reunions, and they've had that new show that's come up as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's one. Boy Meets World was on for a long time. I don't know if...
They had the Girl Meets World. They had a lot of them come back.
Yeah, so that's pretty close. Those were the defining ones for me. But...
Yeah, I will say Friends is the last TV show that I watched before I became a dad.
Really?
Because we're in the hospital room. They're trying to induce labor, so we're just kind of waiting for things to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so my wife is like, "Well, why don't you put on a show?" And so I'm scrolling through Netflix. Let me tell you, there's a lot of pressure because what show do you pick when your wife is about to go in labor? What kind of show? Like, you don't want anything too intense. Like, I'm not putting on ER or something like that. So I'm like, Friends. That's always a good go to. Like,
nobody's gonna yell at you for that decision.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then my wife was like, "Why in the heck did you pick Friends as the one episode?" I don't even think she remembers it now. Like, I asked her about it. Like, you remember watching Friends? And she's like, "No, she doesn't even remember it." But Friends will always hold a special place in my heart. Because I became a dad after watching that episode.
That's great. Great memories, Tyler. That's better than any memory I have with Friends because I never watched the show, but I'm sure it was
I
fascinating.
can't believe you never heard Smelly Cat. Great song. You need to download it. Put it on your playlist.
Okay, I will do that. Well, Tyler, what a way to end the news segment. On a topic that I would say didn't know anything about would be a nice way to put it. But I don't know, an interesting topic to say the least. If you haven't subscribed to the podcast, if you're just listening to this as a one-off, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Give us a 5-star review on Apple, on Google Play, Android, whatever you're on. That helps the podcast show up in the news feed a little better and gives us a better ranking. So that's always helpful. We appreciate that. And leave us a review. Even if you hate us, just leave us a 5-star review and leave us alone.
Yeah. You can tell us we stink. We don't care. Just leave us a review.
Yeah, absolutely.
All feedback is considered.
Considered what?
Well, that's why I didn't say.
It's considered.
It's considered.
It's something. Well, Tyler, I'm really excited about this segment 3 because we're going to talk about the Coach Calipari player bracket, and we've been doing this the last couple weeks. And you put together a 64-team tournament, including 4 play-in games and NIT players that either made or did not make the tournament. So, I mean, this was very interesting. We've gotten through the first round, mostly on our own, but we had to have some help from the audience as well to help break the tie on some of these games. And we're basically pitting the players against each other in a 64-team bracket format, and we're looking at areas like who would win in a one-on-one game, who was the better overall player, who was the better teammate, and really the other one is who the heck do we just like better?
That's right. So we had 2 matchups on our last episode that went to a tiebreaker. We'll give you the results of those. We had Marcus Teague beating James Young in the tiebreak. And we had Alex Poitras beating Kyle Wiltshire in a overwhelming show of support for Alex Poitras on Twitter and on Facebook. So those 2 advanced. So we're now to the second round of 32. We're going to try to get through this whole second round. So we may go through these a little quickly, but...
Quickly, like
who is in the second round.
Yeah, there you go. So we've got 16 matchups to go. Tyler, you're going to call them out since you've got the bracket in front of you.
Okay.
And we're going to go. We're not going to, if we think it's a blowout, we're not going to spend a lot of time on it. But if it's close, we got to debate it, and we may need your help to help decide these. Those polls will be put on the Facebook and our social media, on Twitter, for you to help us decide who wins these particular matchups. So without further ado, Tyler, what do we got for the first matchup?
In the John Wall region, we've got the 1 seed John Wall versus the 9 seed Devin Booker. Brandon, who you got?
Booker's great in the NBA, but not quite there on John Wall's level in college, which is what we're basing this on. We're not judging NBA criteria. If that were the case, then Book is lighting it up and looks to have the far better NBA career going forward than Wall. So,
who would have ever thought we would say that?
No, but for this round, it's got to be Wall in a landslide.
Yeah, Booker was not even a starter. Wall was a consensus All-American Player of the Year candidate. Got to be John Wall.
Absolutely.
All right, now this next matchup, I think this may be the best matchup of the second round because these guys were very similar. They played the same position. We've got the 5 seed P.J. Washington versus the 4 seed Patrick Patterson.
You go first on this one, Tyler.
All right. I think Patrick Patterson could have been, had he stayed another season, he could have contended for the all-time scoring record. I mean, he would have been up there with Dan Issel.
Mm-hmm.
Because his freshman and sophomore years, when he was the go-to, I mean, he was scoring like 20 points a game. Even as a freshman, he was putting up nearly 20 points a game. And then 2010 came, and you had Wall, you had Cousins, you had Bledsoe. He didn't have to be that go-to guy anymore, so he didn't score as much as he did before, which, you know, kind of leaves an impression of, okay, maybe he wasn't as good as P.J. Washington, who was a All-American candidate his sophomore, just massive go-to guy. But I think Patrick Patterson, I got to go with him in this matchup. And then also, my lasting memory of P.J. Washington are those free throws that he missed against Kansas State. And I can't get that out of my mind.
Okay.
I got to go Patrick Patterson.
Yeah, that's a good call. For me, P.J. Washington had 1 solid season. Patrick Patterson had 3.
Mm-hmm.
So, in my opinion, I got to go with P-Pat on this one. He kind of brought the Kentucky program back to relevance in some cases. And, John Calipari obviously pushed it over the edge with the players that he brought in. But he gave us a breath of air to at least breathe because without him, we're relying on Razor Ramon Harris and Michael Porter and Perry Stevenson to lead us to the promised land. And no offense to those guys, they're great.
Great role players.
But they can't lead you. Patterson all the way.
Okay, all right, interesting. I thought we might go to tiebreaker on that one, but Patterson goes on to face John Wall in the Sweet 16.
It's going to be a good one.
Bottom half of the bracket, we've got the 3 seed Julius Randle against the 6 seed Aaron Harrison. Guys who played on the same team in 2014.
Man. This is brutal, Tyler, because Aaron Harrison hit some of the biggest shots I've ever seen and will see in Kentucky history. It absolutely blew my mind, and for those few weeks, I was on cloud 9. I couldn't believe what was happening. It was some of the best times as a Kentucky fan. But by George, Julius Randle is so underrated it really irks me because he did everything on that team. He was a bully, rebounder, big dude that could do spin moves. I mean, it was great. He did everything. So while I think Aaron Harrison was great for that 3 or 4 week stretch, Julius Randle was a man for that whole season and is criminally underrated. I'm going with Julius Randle.
Yeah, I believe, I could be wrong on this, but I think Julius Randle holds the record for most free throws attempted in the season just because he was unguardable. You either had to just let him score or foul him, and he got fouled all the time. So he lived at the free throw line, couldn't stop him on the boards, on the block. Not a terrible outside shooter as well. He did have that threat. So I got to go Julius Randle.
Okay, good. I didn't know where we would go with that, so that's good news. Good to hear.
All right, Randle moves on over Aaron Harrison. Filling out this bracket, we got the 7 seed Tyrese Maxey versus the number 2 seed Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. I mean, again, we look at pro careers. MKG didn't really pan out. But in college, I think these two guys are actually very similar.
Yes, this is going to be a tough matchup.
In that, just motors that never stop. Like, these two guys were just constantly running. Like, I would have hated to have had to try to guard either one of these guys. So they just never stopped moving from one side to the other, coming around curls off screens. Just relentless pursuit. But, I mean, MKG... I loved him, man. He would just the effort, the heart. You were not stop. If he wanted to get to the rim, you were not stopping him. Obviously, won the title. I got to go, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist.
Yeah, I think the thing that hinders Maxey is we didn't get to finish out that season.
Yeah,
and he was the 3rd best player on that team.
True.
For that particular team. Now, Maxey was the better NBA prospect, but Quickly and Richards were contending for SEC Player of the Year. So I've got to go MKG. He was only 2nd behind the greatest player I've ever seen at UK, Anthony Davis, and that's I think that's good. So I got to go MKG as well.
Yeah.
But very close matchup. I mean, I like both, but the fact that MKG brought a title does help.
Okay, so that sets up, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist versus Julius Randle in the Sweet 16.
God, that's
what a matchup. All right, we're going to go down to the DeMarcus Cousins region. We have the 1 seed Cousins versus the 8 seed Josh Harrelson. Brandon, we love George. Is there any chance he's got against Boogie?
Oh man, I think it's closer in my mind than I think it is. Cousins is an elite player.
Yep.
An elite player, but Harrelson grew probably more than any player I've ever seen at Kentucky, from a guy that I didn't think would see the floor under Calipari to really thriving and being a leader on the team, which is ridiculous to think about. But Cousins is an elite player. I got to go Cousins.
All right,
Call me.
I'm going Cousins too. Easy.
Okay.
All right, Brandon. This I think this is another really tough one. This is, of course, the 5-4 matchup. The 5 seed Nerlens Noel versus the 4 seed Malik Monk.
Oh, wow.
Now, if Nerlens had played an entire season, I think I would easily go Nerlens here, because I think he would have obliterated the single-season shot block record had he played a full season.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
Would have even beaten what Anthony Davis had. But he didn't. So, again, we can only go by what they did in their time here.
Yes, I'm with you.
Malik Monk was very streaky. He had some huge games. He had some bad games, honestly. Yeah. I will always remember the 47-point game he had against Carolina.
In Vegas, yeah. It was awesome.
I mean, if it weren't for Luke May, he hits one of the biggest threes in memory that would have sent the game to overtime. Who knows what would have happened in that Carolina game. I got to go Malik Monk here just because we're just looking at what they did. Nerlens only gave us half a year.
Yeah, and I've also got to look at how they finished the season, too. That team went to the NIT that Nerlens was on, and that's tough. It leaves you with a sour taste in your mouth when you look back at the players on there, and that's no fault of Nerlens. He got hurt, and they make the tournament with him in there. Fact is, he wasn't there, and Monk, while he was streaky, provides some hellacious highlights.
Oh, man. He was really fun. So you're going Monk as well?
Yeah, I'm a little underwhelmed by Monk overall, but, man, when he was hot, he was hot.
He was. So that sets up Monk versus Cousins. We now go to the 3 seed De'Aaron Fox versus the 6 seed Kevin Knox.
Oh.
Hop on socks.
Hop on. Fox, this is the Dr. Seuss matchup, right?
Yeah.
Do you like Knox with Fox and a box?
I do not like them. Sam, I am.
To me, this is a no-brainer. It's Fox. I mean, to me, he was probably the best player in the country at the end of that season. He could not be guarded. He made Lonzo Ball look like an idiot.
Yeah, he was Lonzo Ball's
Everybody
dad.
is hyping Lonzo Ball. Lonzo, best point guard. He made him look like just a scrub.
A kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. Fox, easy. Got De'Aaron Fox moves on.
Fox over Knox.
Fox over Knox. We now have the 7 seed Darius Miller versus the 2 seed Karl Anthony Towns. I actually made the case for Keldon Johnson over Darius Miller on this show a few weeks ago. So I love Darius Miller, but Karl Anthony Towns, he was the number 1 pick in the draft the next year. He was the go-to guy on the best team maybe that we've ever had. I think this is easy for me, Karl Towns.
It's Karl Towns, but Darius Miller was such a good player, and from Kentucky too. He was the perfect guy to win a national title. You know what I mean? A perfect Kentucky player to win the national title. So I'm glad that happened.
So that sets up the Fox versus the Cat.
Oh, jeez. Oh, God.
I'm here all day, folks.
Oh.
All right. We got time to finish this out, Brandon. How we doing on time?
Let's crank it out.
Okay. All right. Anthony Davis region. We've got 1 seed Anthony Davis versus 8 seed Tyler Hero. Okay, Anthony Davis.
When you said 8 seed, there's no way an 8 seed's taking out Anthony Davis.
By the way, did you see Tyler Hero's about to be a dad?
That's great.
Do you think he'll show his girlfriend an episode of Friends when they're in the delivery?
I don't know. You should put that out on Twitter and see if he does it, because that's what you do.
Yeah. Well, his name is Tyler too. So.
Oh, great.
All right. Then
it's getting late, Tyler. We better finish this up. Yeah.
Okay. 5 seed Nick Richards versus 4 seed Terrence Jones. Another tough 5-4 matchup.
Oh, man.
Nick Richards basically did nothing for 2 years and then had an incredible junior season, which, again, got cut short, as we mentioned. Mm-hmm. Terrence Jones, good freshman year, good sophomore year, just kind of solid, knew what you were getting. I'm going Terrence Jones. He won a title. He was a matchup nightmare for people. Richards had one good regular season, never gave us anything postseason as Jones did. I got Terrence Jones.
Terrence Jones, an underrated guy, kind of like Julius Randle, that kind of gets forgotten about, and very similar players in a way. Kind of could go inside.
Yep,
They had a shot. They were lefties. They could do moves that most guys that we've had could not do. Criminally underrated. Great player. I love Terrence Jones.
Okay, all right, let's go. Next matchup: 3 seed Jamal Murray, 6 seed Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I love Jamal Murray. When he was shooting those bows and arrows, it was one of the happiest moments of my life. I was shooting bows and arrows around my house, shooting my kids with bows and arrows. I got Jamal Murray.
It's Jamal Murray. Although Shai Gilgeous-Alexander probably has surprised me more than any underrated freshman that we've ever had.
Absolutely.
I've never seen a guy that was not even thought about in the recruiting class come up and just blow people's minds. He did it.
Yep. All right, so Murray moves on. Last matchup in this region, the 7 seed Bam Adebayo versus the 2 seed Brandon Knight. Who you got?
Oh, boy. This one's tough, but Brandon Knight hit the shot against Ohio State. That's enough for me. He was the lead.
That's all he needed.
He was the leader of that team. Bam Adebayo, great player, but the third best player on that team.
Yep, good point. I got Knight as well. Also hit the game-winning shot against Princeton in the first round.
Yes.
All right, so we got one more region.
Tyler, we've been in agreement this whole bracket.
I know. We've not had one dispute.
But this last time we did this, we had the disputes in this bracket.
It was.
So let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens. We've got the number 1 seed Tyler Eulis and the number 8 seed Marcus Teague. Battle of point guards here. I think this is an easy one. Tyler Eulis was the Cousy Award winner for best point guard in his sophomore year. I don't think Teague won anything. He might have won a Bud Light koozie at
he did win a national title.
The Tri-Delt party or something.
Oh, jeez. He did win a national title.
Well, he did. That's true.
That is something to be said. But yeah, it's Eulis. There's no doubt.
Tyler Eulis.
Love Marcus Teague. He won us a title, but Eulis is way better.
Okay. All right. Now we've got another point guard matchup. We've got the 5 seed Andrew Harrison and the 4 seed Emmanuel Quickly.
Ooh.
Boy. I'm going to let you go first on this one, sir, because this is a tough one.
You know, this is a tough one. Andrew Harrison led probably the second greatest team that I've ever seen at UK. But I never felt like he reached another level in his point guard play. I think he was just surrounded by 52 other NBA players, which helped out tremendously. Emmanuel Quickly basically took things into his own hands, went from a bench role player to, player of the year in the SEC. I mean, it's pretty impressive what he was able to do. So I'm going to go Quickly.
Okay.
I think he was at a more elite level at Kentucky than Andrew Harrison was.
Interesting. Yeah, boy, this is a really hard one. I think I'm going to go Andrew Harrison. You look at, both guys stayed 2 years, so we have 2 years of comparison here. Okay, year 1, Andrew Harrison was starting point guard for a team that went to the Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
Quickly was a backup for a team that, lost in the Elite Eight?
Yeah.
Okay. Second year, Andrew Harrison, point guard for the greatest team that we've ever had.
Second greatest.
What?
Second greatest team.
You go 96?
Yeah, 96 is better.
All right.
Yeah.
Whatever. First or second best team we've ever had. Emmanuel Quickly, we don't know what he would have done in the postseason. I got to go Harrison. He's single-handedly almost won that game against Notre Dame in the Elite Eight. He was unstoppable that game.
But he was surrounded by NBA. He was surrounded by NBA talent his 2 years there. Emmanuel Quickly, there wasn't that flood of talent. He made his own way, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but I think Quickly gave you 1 good year. I think Harrison gave me 2 good years, so I'm going Harrison for that reason.
Going Quickly. We'll have to put that up to a vote.
That's going to the vote.
But that's a good matchup. So I can see why we were conflicted on that.
It's a heck of a matchup.
Yeah. So we'll put that up on Facebook and on Twitter, so make sure you
make sure you follow us so you can give your vote. Andrew Harrison versus Emmanuel Quickly.
Yes.
All right, finishing this out. We've got the 3 seed Deron Lamb versus the 6 seed Eric Bledsoe.
Ugh.
Another tough one.
What, do I go first on this one?
I think this one's me.
Okay.
I'm going to go Deron Lamb. Single best three-point shooter that we have had of the Calipari era. Bledsoe, anytime he shot it, I just kind of cringed. I did not like when
Wrong guy, Tyler. Wrong guy.
That's true. I'm sorry, Eric. You're a great
You're a great man.
I'm going Deron Lamb. Won a title. Was the go-to three-point shooter for 2 years. I got Lamb.
Well, I got to go with Lamb on this one, too, because let's be honest, Tyler, if he doesn't go off in the title game, we may not win that game with Anthony Davis and MKG.
True.
Deron Lamb is the MVP.
He was the leading scorer of that game, right?
Yes, he is the MVP of that game. If he doesn't go off like he did, we may not have any banners under Calipari.
Oh, boy.
So
wouldn't that be something?
That would be something.
All right, we've got one more matchup. Last one. 7-seed Alex Poitras versus the 2-seed Willie Cauley-Stein. Brandon, Poitras or Willie?
Oh, boy. Poitras, nice young lad. I've got to go Willie Cauley-Stein. I mean, that's it. There's no other answer. I mean, Poitras is a nice guy and everything. Seems like a good kid. Gave us, more years than most players that come to UK now.
4 years?
Yeah. What's 4 years? Oh, my goodness. But gave us a lot. Just never really took anything over the top while Mr. Cauley-Stein elevated to a new level and was an All-American.
First team All-American. Who would have ever dreamed Willie Cauley-Stein?
Yeah, when he showed up, I didn't think there was a snowball's chance. You want to talk about a guy that took advantage of the Kentucky effect? He did. But he had to put in the work to do it, and he transformed his body, transformed his play, and turned into a whole new level of player. It's awesome.
Yeah. I'll tell you something about Willie Cauley-Stein that you probably don't know, Brandon.
What?
Did you know that in high school he played football and was a wide receiver?
You need to get out of here right now.
I know.
I don't believe you.
I spent many hours researching that.
That's amazing. That is amazing. So, Ty, we have successfully went through the second round and narrowed it down to our Sweet 16. We do have one going up to vote, though.
Yep.
So look on Facebook, follow us, Lex Buds and Pick and Roll on Facebook, look out for that, and on Twitter at Lex Buds for that poll that you can vote in. And we appreciate everybody's participation so far. I notice as these matchups continue to go along, the poll results are receiving more input, would be the way to say it. So make sure your voice is heard.
Yes, make sure you vote. It is a privilege that we get this opportunity to vote. That's what makes a democracy where it's your civic duty.
It's in the Constitution that you vote in this bracket.
Exactly.
I think it's Article 14, Section 42, Paragraph G.
I think you nailed it. Yep.
It mentions something about the Lex Buds bracket. So you have this right, this God-given right to participate in this bracket. It's a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing indeed.
You know what was not beautiful, Tyler? The way we started this show. I don't know how on God's green earth we started this show. This has been a very interesting show. I mean, we closed the news segment with a topic we didn't know anything about from a show that neither one of us have watched. We talked about Coach K. We talked about being vaccinated and becoming millionaire vaccinationers. What do you call those people? Vaccine millionaires?
I don't know. I guess that
we need to create a term.
I'll let you know after I win the $1 million what you can call me.
Yeah, let me know. But we did establish that Heinz 57 sauce is also not ketchup. It is, in fact, a separate sauce altogether.
Can we edit that out? Because people are just going to think I'm an idiot now.
No, Tyler, I was actually going to put that up as a snippet on Facebook because that's one of the funniest things I've ever heard in my life. There's no way we can edit that out.
Oh, God. My wife's going to kill me.
That was a great way to start. That was probably the best start to a show because we didn't even get into anything. We just said, hey, it's Brandon. Hey, it's Tyler. It's Heinz 57 ketchup. And you know what? Now I'm paranoid. I'm going to have to go look and make sure that Heinz 57 is not a ketchup. Because maybe I'm the idiot.
Wouldn't your face be red? Be as red as that Mickey Mouse shirt you've got on.
Or ketchup. See how we do there?
Everything comes full circle in this show.
Here. That's how we roll. But it's been a very interesting show. Follow us on Twitter at LexBuds, Facebook, Lex Buds and Pick and Roll, and on the YouTubes, just type in the word Lex Buds. And on your internet device of any kind, just type Lex Buds in. We're the only two goofballs that took the word Lex Buds, so we're the only two people that are going to show up. That's it.
Yep, you will find us. We're not hard to find.
Yeah, absolutely. So we had a good time. We're going to follow up on the catch-up dilemma on the next show and confirm everything for everyone, and we'll see you on the next episode. Stay classy, Kentucky.